Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. How is everyone doing today? So I'm happy to be here back on our next video for our psychologist page in a series talking about women's health. So all those videos are being posted on our YouTube channel, Psychologist, Psychologz. The address is posted on our title on this video here, and we are presenting a series of videos specifically related to women's health. We have some other videos already on our YouTube page. You're welcome to check and watch some tips and comments, information about mental health for other groups, and we are going to talk about other groups as well in future series. But this series we have started last week. We are talking about women's health. There's a lot of specific things about every kind of community, right? So women's health is different from men, from children, from adults, and so everything has like their specificities. And as you know, for those who don't know me, my name is Sandra Ferreira. I'm a licensed psychotherapist with over 32 years of clinical experience and academic experience, five college degrees. And I have been working with different kinds of population throughout those years of clinical experience. And I have a lot to offer, and I'm very happy to share that with you. So today, specifically, we are going to be talking about pregnancy, mental health, and during pregnancy and postpartum. So there's a lot of specificities that is related to mental health of women during those periods. When women is pregnant and during the postpartum, there's a lot of specific things that are related to their mental health and which we are going to be talking about. So I ask you, as you join us, to post your name, where you're from, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to post, and I'll be happy to answer. So about women's health, we have during the pregnancy, we have a huge change of hormones, right? All the hormones that are necessary to feed the baby during the pregnancy, to promote the development of the fetus and the baby on the womb, is of course very important and necessary, and is a natural part of the pregnancy. However, hormones has a very important role on the mood. It has a strong effect on the mood for everyone. But with men, there's not much of huge changes on levels of hormones unless there's some abnormality or different changes, small changes throughout the years as they go older. But for women, each month there's a huge change on levels of hormones, and especially during pregnancy, there is a huge change on the levels of hormone, and that directly affects the mood. So the women during the pregnancy gets really sensitive, becomes very sensitive, much more vulnerable for any kind of issues that they carry. And if everything goes smooth, if they don't have any history of any history of mental health, any history of depression or anxiety, or family history of those problems, the pregnancy just goes smooth. The woman becomes more sensitive, more more emotional. So there's little changes, so huge changes, but it's not going to be detrimental for her well-being necessarily. She's just going to see things and experience things in a different lens. But after the birth and the postpartum, and as she adjusted back to her normal level, everything goes back to where it was. So, however, if the woman presents any history of depression or mental or the anxiety or any trauma, has experienced any trauma, if the woman who has a history of difficult relationships with their parents, or has a difficult upbringing, or if the woman has any other problems, any other health problems, is going to be highlighted during the pregnancy because of the changes of hormones. So the woman becomes much more vulnerable to present any major crisis during the pregnancy. So she can go into a very deep level of depression or really high levels of anxiety, or can go into a crisis of some sort, depending on the level of and the intensity of the symptoms. So it's very important that if you are planning to become pregnant, or you are in a sexually active, and even if you're not planning but you don't mind to get pregnant, if you are in a committed relationship, or doesn't matter what's your situation, if you are open to become pregnant, or if you're not using birth control, it's very important that you do some kind of therapeutic process. You engage into a psychotherapy to prevent any issues. Because sometimes people think, oh, I don't have any problems. I work or I study. I have friends. I feel happy. I'm okay in my life. I'm not crazy, right? Like sometimes people associate psychotherapy with craziness, with some kind of disease, mental disease, but it's not true. Everyone has issues. Everyone, no single person in the world is absolutely absent of any kind of a problem. So it's always important to address those things before it becomes a problem. So it's what we call preventive psychotherapy, of preventive care, in order to assure that your pregnancy is going to go very smoothly, even if it's not planned. But if in the occasion that you get pregnant, you are ready emotionally to have a very positive and healthy experience. So even like I mentioned, issues like difficulties on relationships with your parents, if you have had any problems, if one of your parents left your life, or became your parents have issues between them, all those things are can affect your pregnancy, and can affect your relationship with your own motherhood, and also your relationship with your baby and your future child. So all those issues are preventable and treatable and in therapy. And of course, even if you are already pregnant and if you are already in a crisis, of course there's treatments and ways of for you to get well. It's not just if you have never have a chance to treat those things, or even if you are in therapy but you are not addressing the right issues during therapy and you still got into a crisis, it's okay. You can still be treated during pregnancy or after the pregnancy, but it's much more painful, right? Because if you already broke into a crisis, you are already experiencing pain and suffering, and that's why it's important to prevent those sufferings if you engage in therapy before you get pregnant. So in terms of the postpartum is another huge transition in the levels of hormones. So when the woman gets pregnant, there's a huge increase of progesterone in her system, which makes her more vulnerable, more sensitive, more emotional. And as soon as the child is born, the levels of progesterone drops radically and the levels of estrogen increases. So there's also more production of prolactose and all those other hormones to promote the production of milk and everything. So you're still not in your baseline after the birth, the delivery. So first of all, you're adjusting to this huge change, this huge drop of hormones and increase on the other hormones. So that has a very significant impact on your mood and your mental health, the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, and the way you relate to your emotions. Everything is extremely different in those two periods of women's health. So so during the postpartum is another very critical period where you do need to have some kind of support, some kind of psychotherapy. If you're already in crisis, or if you got into crisis before you got pregnant or during the pregnancy, it's very important that you have the support of both your physician, your OBGYN, and perhaps a psychiatrist, and also a psychotherapist. And the psychotherapist is going to be able to detect what is okay, what is not okay, in whatever is not okay, whatever is a little out of the level, they are going to be able to give the proper orientation and the proper guidance and promote the treatment for you to feel better. But even if it's in a normal range, is already a lot. So it's very difficult to deal with all that because first of all, women are not educated to understand and to know those things before they get pregnant. So there's sometimes a lack of education even amongst women who already had kids. Sometimes they have experienced those things, but they don't understand why they experienced. They think that it is only their problem, was something wrong with them that they dealt with by themselves, and that's it. And they don't understand where it came from, and also they didn't understand, they didn't know where to look for help. What are the resources that they would have to help themselves through those problems. And there's another component that's very important to say, that there's a lot of guilt that comes with those crises, because there's very conflicting feelings that come up both during the pregnancy and especially after the postpartum. There's a lot of conflicting feelings that come in which different degrees between different women, and there's different issues that pop up for depending on the each person's lifestyle or life history and personal genetics. So, but there's nevertheless there's some level of conflict and crisis that comes with after birth. Uh, Sometimes there's like even extreme contrast between love and hate. Sometimes you love and hate yourself. Sometimes you love and hate your baby. And there's a lot of shame and guilt on it because, of course, you don't want to have those feelings. You don't want to feel this way. You don't want to be a bad mother, and you're afraid of yourself, and it's like it becomes an overwhelming situation. And if your baby, which is the norm, if your baby don't sleep at night in the beginning, you have all those lack of sleep. You are sleep deprived, and this increases your difficulties and your mental imbalance, the imbalance of your hormones, your mental hormones, not only your reproductive hormones, but your mental hormones, the endorphins, the serotonin, the noradrenaline. All those hormones are also become also unbalanced because of the pregnancy and postpartum, and also for the because of the lack of sleep. So all this together, just think about it. All this together uh, is like is a huge issue because it's something that is organic, that is playing a role on your well-being and the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, and the way you see your baby, and the way you react, you deal with your emotions. So it's a overwhelming kind of situation, and the woman sometimes feels alone. They don't feel safe even to talk about this with their partner or with their parents or with their friends, with anyone. Even and also there's those who don't have anyone to help them in a practical level. They are single mothers or they are teenagers. So there's a lot of things that a lot of different circumstances that different women need to face, and one way or the other, even if you have all the support around you, sometimes you feel alone because you don't feel safe to share those things. And sometimes you share and people just brush it off. Oh, that's the way it is, and that's, don't think this way, everything's gonna pass, and don't worry about it. So they brush it off, and they sometimes don't know how to help you. It's not because they are insensitive necessarily, but sometimes they don't know how to help you. So that's why it's important to look for a professional to give you the guidance and support and the proper techniques in order to deal with those things and go through those periods in a very healthy way. Because this is going to determine a lot of things even after you adjust, after the postpartum, after your hormones is adjusted. There's a lot of consequences on your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your baby, and your relationship with your family and your partner. So and is not just about weight and hope that everything goes away, because a lot of things happen during this time, internally and externally. And if we don't address in a proper way, there's, perhaps negative consequences that you could avoid for yourself, for your own life, and your life outcome, your health, your physical health, your mental health, and which is huge, right? So what I would recommend is that, first of all, besides of looking for psychotherapy, I would recommend that you engage in a very healthy diet. Avoid 100% cigarettes, alcohol, any substance. Even if your doctor say it's safe to drink a little bit after 6 months of pregnancy, do not engage in any substance consumption, because any substance is going to lower your judgment. It's going to expose you even strongly to your emotions. It's going to unbalance your mental hormones, the chemistry on your brain, and that's make you more vulnerable to any kind of crisis. So I strongly encourage you to go absolutely abstinent to any kind of substance unless it's prescribed by a doctor. The other thing I would strongly recommend is that you engage in physical activities. So physical exercise is a wonderful tool to balance anything in our body. Balance the hormones, balance our health, balance our circulation. It's good for our muscles. It's going to help you during delivery. And after you gave birth, it's going to help your body to go back to normal, to adjust to your normal self. And so physical exercise during and after the pregnancy is extremely important. Of course, you are going to engage in different kinds of routines, right? You cannot do a really, really heavy duty kind of exercise, even if you are already well prepared, if you are athletic and you have, already build up that resistance and that you're used to, like heavy set kind of exercise during the pregnancy. If you engage in really heavy exercise, you have a risk of miscarriage. So it's not a good idea. So, but there are specific routines that are specific for pregnant women. And you can do some cardio, you can walk, you can do some light cardio, which is really important to regulate the hormones. So walking, swimming is fantastic because it doesn't hurt your body, doesn't have a strong negative impact on your body during pregnancy, and is a wonderful cardio. And if you like water, if you are familiar, if you feel comfortable in water, just indulge yourself. You can go to a lake, you can go to the beach, you can go to a pool, a community pool, or if you have a pool at your home, indulge yourself in swimming exercise daily if possible. If you don't, try to go up and down stairs as much as you can. Try to walk every single day. Try to have a regular routine of exercise in a daily basis. Yoga is also another very positive and very healthy style of exercise to engage during the pregnancy and after the delivery, during the postpartum period. So there's a lot of different kinds of yoga. You could take a look on yogas that are good to help with your back pain. For example, women experience a lot of back pain during pregnancy, regardless of age, because of the weight of the baby and the changes on the bones and all the organs inside, which creates some pain. The circulation, there's a lot of exercise that promotes a healthy circulation on yoga, and also relaxation and meditation, right? So this whole exercise, this whole concept of reconnecting or connecting with your body and paying attention on your breathing and regulating your breathing, regulating your muscles, detoxing. There's a lot of detoxing exercises on yoga, and some kinds of yoga, some positions that are very easy to do, and it is really healthy for you during the pregnancy and the postpartum period. So so exercise, and another thing is meditation, right? So if you have, doesn't matter if you have any kind of a spiritual connection or if you are religious or not, meditation is a wonderful tool to decompress, to help yourself to balance your emotions and things like that. There's different kinds of meditation. If you're experiencing anxiety or depression, the meditation of just sitting quiet sometimes doesn't work, right? So and there's different kinds of meditation. I do this all the time with my patients in my clinics, and it's a wonderful thing. They respond really well for it, even when they are in an acute stage of anxiety or depression. So the specific kinds of meditation that are suitable for people in crisis, in anxiety or depression, are the ones that you should look for during those times. So, and even if you are not in a crisis, but you're not being able to focus or just not to think about anything, to shut down your mind, those exercises, those specific kinds of meditations are really good and really helpful for you during the pregnancy and postpartum. So, so there's a lot of things to talk about. It's a lot of things specifically. There's the relationship with their own body, your own sexuality. If you have a partner, sometimes there are changes on your relationship with your sexuality. Sometimes your partner has some shifts, some changes on their own sexuality because their problems, their own trauma. So it's very common. I see a lot of cases in my office where the partner got into a crisis during the pregnancy. The woman was fine. They were doing well. They were all lovey-dovey with their partner and feeling good about themselves and the baby and the partner. But then the partner got into a crisis and they start rejecting the woman, or they start treating them differently. They have a lot of conflicts that they have no idea that they have, and where they come from. So it's important that the partners also look for therapy if you are experiencing any kind of issue. If your wife is pregnant and you're experiencing changes on your emotions or going to any kind of conflict, please look for therapy, because this is also common. So it's something that is a lot of people do not know, is the fact that when you have a child, you experience the same stages of your life. You regress to experience the same stages of your life as the child grows. So when your partner is pregnant, or when you are pregnant, you are experiencing your own stage of before, when you are in your mother's womb. So sometimes there are issues that you have no idea that your mother went through. Sometimes there are people who have been adopted, or don't have connection with their biological mother, or even if they have, sometimes the mother passed away, or they never talked about it. So they have no idea that the mother experienced those issues, and therefore they experience those issues with their mother. So it's also important for the partners to engage in psychotherapy individually or as a couple, to prevent and or if you are already in a crisis, to take care, to address those issues before it becomes a huge complication in your life and in your child's life and your partner's life. So it has huge implications in all of them, in everyone that's involved. So everyone needs to be well for the others to be well, and the relationship to be well, and the family to grow in a healthy way. I will be happy to help you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through my website, www.psychologist.com, psychologz.com. So you are welcome to to contact me by email, to share your experiences or to ask for help, to schedule an appointment. Feel free, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Psychologists, and the link is posted on this program here on the title of the program, and it's going to be available to you in our website, in our Facebook page of our clinic with the same name, Psychologist, Psychologz. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to see you again next Tuesday. Next Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Eastern time, USA. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Bye.